Hey guys, this is AZ Wallbreaker here, and you're watching my channel Wallbreakers, here to inspire you to be epic, be legendary. If you are new to this channel and you just feel like you're procrastinating, you can't get stuff done, you keep asking yourself, why are you wasting so much time not accomplishing your dreams or goals? This channel is for you. Hit like or subscribe. Also share this video for other people who are in your same boat. Look, I'm an everyday guy. I work, I pay bills, I raise a family, but I don't use those as clutch to stop me from accomplishing my dreams and goals that I want to do and want my family and friends to remember me for. Alright, today we're going to talk about how I'm doing with my book updates. I just completed chapter 11 for this week, which I'm excited. I moved on to chapter 12. I just started writing chapter 12. This week I have some time off because Veterans Day is coming up. Yay! I want to give a salute to all the people who are watching who are service members who have served or is serving today. So I just want to thank you from one service member to another. Alright, enough of that. We're going to move on what's going on this week. This week I am going to try to accomplish at least 2 chapters of my book this weekend. Why? Because I get time off, I get Friday off. I hope to take full advantage of that, and I need to push more because it's near the end of the year. I have a deadline that I must keep in trying to write my book. So I want to just push as I get more time off. Thank goodness for the seasons. I'm going to get more time off around this part of the year, and I'm going to push into complete my second draft of my book. So I'm just going to push and push until I get that by taking full advantage of my time off. We're going to move on to my topic, and that is power to the reader. AZ, how do I give power to the reader? That is a very good question. There are a few ways that I've noticed when I read how authors give power to the readers. There are a few steps that I notice that I have given to the reader. Even though I haven't really shared my works with a lot of people, I just know by reading as I write, I feel like I'm giving it to them. This is what I learned so far with when I read a book or write a book. Giving hints, aka also known as, if you're not familiar with the term, foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is a very important concept to use in writing, especially when I write. Foreshadowing gives a hint, a glimpse into the future, what could or may happen. But instead of telling them what's going to happen in the story, you're just giving little crumbs, bits of crumbs to say, hey, this could happen. Guessing is a very good thing in writing, especially when you're writing a fiction such as what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to use a lot more in my writing, and I've been using it a lot to just to give the reader an opportunity to guess what could happen, even though it might not happen. So I just like the idea of foreshadowing in writing to give more power to the reader. When we use descriptions, whether it be a character, the environment, whatever that you're writing in this case, we have to use some kind of description to give a visual sense to the reader. By giving them a visual sense to the reader, they are more invested into our stories. They want to read more. They want to learn more about our stories. You are giving them more power by setting the environment, setting the character, how everything plays a role by giving descriptions. So here's an example of a lead-in description without giving it away. Sally stomped up the stairs in protest. Now, I could have said Sally was angry while going upstairs. But it was more powerful when I used action rather than telling the story. It is actions that people want to see and hear as they are reading through our stories. Not give it step-by-step details of how things are going. If people wanted that, they would go get something to build and read instructions. They want to be entertained knowing that they can pretty much guess how that person is feeling, how they feel emotionally. They want to be part of how that character is feeling. So they kind of want to feel like, okay, I feel this character in this book because she makes me feel this way. Sally makes me feel this way. But when you tell them, I just feel like the reader gets a slight distance from your book because they're not invested because you're telling it to them rather than let them guess and be emotionally invested in that character. So lead-in descriptions without giving away is a very good thing. I suggest you use it and put it right. I know I'm using it a lot in my writing, and I know it's a very big difference as I use actions to express what a character is feeling rather than just telling the reader how a person is feeling. Number 3, character dialogue. Character dialogue is very important in writing because it allows the reader to understand the relationships between characters, how they behave around each other. You have to use certain dialogues to allow the reader to clearly understand and define how relationships work between each character in your story. You think it's easy, but as it's not, because as you write, you gotta be careful how you turn this relationship between certain characters. A reader might expect a certain character to fall in love with another character, but you did write that as such and turned it to where they hate each other out of nowhere. And you have to be very careful because now you're taking the power away without building it up and without giving the reader something to say, okay, maybe this is not working too well. Maybe there's something in there that even though they're supposed to love each other, or I think they would fit together as a couple, maybe there's something about each other's personality that just not working. You have to give the reader the opportunity to guess and figure things out based on where you want to take the reader. So make sure that when you write character dialogue that it makes sense that certain stuff happens. Like I said, it doesn't make sense if you have a brother or sister who, even though they're not blood related, they are brothers and sisters in a sense, like they are blood related, but then they start falling in love out of nowhere without giving hints, without telling you why they're doing it. So use that for an example. I know I tried to use that as character dialogue to try to give the power to the reader because I want to make sure that the reader understands there's a clear definition of of relationship between certain characters. The most important one is the imagination. Alright, when we have imagination, we use this to think logically, but we use this to feel. And imagination allows both to coexist while we're reading. When we can think logically at the same time feel it, it is a wonderful phenomenon, at least from my experience. I know when I read certain books and they make me invested, it's because they make me think logically at the same time feel emotionally. When I have those two working side by side, I read the book like crazy. Like, even though I'm not the fastest reader in the world, I will read a book if it makes me invested in them. It might, like, I remember, for example, I used to read Angels and Demons by Dan Brown, a phenomenal book, and I would read a few pages at a time. At one point, I stopped halfway into the book and didn't read the book for a year. I came back to it a year later, but I was still invested in the book because I wanted to know what happened, what goes on. Because certain things in my mind was like, okay, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, but I was feeling it, feeling the emotion of like the action of what was going on in those books. So it is very critical that you and me myself make sure that we get the reader to use their brains and their hearts at the same time so they can be fully invested into our stories. Alright, so that was it for this week, and it was fun. I love doing this. I love sharing my updates with y'all. So my question to you is, how do you give power to the people? Alright, so this is the end of this video. Alright, so this is the end of this week's blog. My question to you is, how do you think you should give power to the reader? What are your strategies to making them invest in your book if you are a writer? What do you think you could do to make them more invested? Please comment below and I will respond to as many as I can. So I'll be seeing you, and remember,